Hello everyone and welcome to another Wavelength series. My name is Waveney and I am your master leadership mindset coach, and I help you not just survive but to thrive and lead influentially. Now, are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. Now, a few life updates because I haven't been on in a minute. I have completed my master's coaching certification, and so I am now certified in, I think it's about five modalities. So earlier on, I did the practitioner's course, and just recently I completed the master's coaching certification, and I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna link below the post I made on Instagram, and I'll also link below the five modalities. I don't know why six keeps popping up in my head, but the five modalities I am certified in. And so I wanted to share that life update with you because it's important. I did those certifications so I can better serve you, so that I can better help you. You know, HR, and if you don't know, my background is in human resources. I'm a seasoned human resource professional, and I've also, my career is in hospitality, for those of you who don't know. But I wanted to serve at a higher level. I wanted to serve, I should say, at a deeper level. And when I stumbled upon the coaching certification and the particular modalities that are techniques that it afforded me, I said, why not? And these are tools that I use when I produce my content online. You would have, for example, you would have seen me doing the tapping, the EFT tapping. I'm certified in that. This particular go around, I have a certification in somatic work as well, and so it's really exciting. And like I said, I wanted to serve at a deeper level, because outside of the strategies, and this is something that I realize, and this is why the content has shifted quite a bit, that outside of the strategies, the strategies that you learn, that there's a deeper layer to it. And today I'm going to talk about that deeper layer. So I just wanted to share that information with you, and let's talk about that deeper layer. So today, what I wanted to talk about is the access that you lose when you're under pressure. Okay? The access that you lose when you're under pressure. And the access that you lose when you're under pressure is not the access to someone outside yourself, right? It isn't access to somebody that's powerful. It isn't access to a bank account. It isn't access to any of those types of things. But there are four specific access that you lose when you're under pressure. And you would realize that when you are under pressure, when there is uncertainty, and I'm not just talking about a bad day, because all of us have bad days, but sometimes in our leadership there are moments, there are seasons that we are under pressure, and you may be experiencing that right now. If you are, drop an emoji in the comments, right? You may be experiencing, you may be going through that season of uncertainty. Everything at work is uncertain. Everything around you is uncertain. You might be going through also a period of intense changes. There are so many changes at work, in your environment, or you may be in a different space and you have to deal with the culture. You have to not deal with, but you sort of have to manage and get accustomed to what's going on. And so under these circumstances, that's pressure. That is real pressure, and you lose critical access in those moments. Now, before I get into the access that you lose, I want to share with you why this is happening. So, for the most part of it, and I won't get too scientific, is that your prefrontal cortex, right? The part of your brain that is responsible for critical thinking, for logical thinking, for decision making. It's a part of your brain that I am using right now to share this information. I'm thinking as I speak in, but I'm doing it really quickly. This part of your brain goes offline. Under pressure, it goes offline. Okay? And what happens is the part of our brain that is, they call it the reptilian part of our brain because it's been around forever. It's evolved as humans evolve. It's been there. It's called the amygdala, and that is the emotional processing part of our brain, and that comes online. And that part of the brain is responsible for when we freeze. So have you ever, and you may be experiencing it during this time, you may go into a meeting. So the around you is uncertain, it's intense change, it is intense, right? And you go into a meeting and you've written down what you wanted to say. And you walked out of that meeting and you're like, this is not, I don't know what just happened. Because you either blew your top, you went off the deep end based on whatever someone said to you, or you just froze, or you maybe, let's see, fight, flight, you avoided, right, the conversation. But either way, what you had planned in that meeting is not what happened. Okay? And this is because the part of your brain that is wired for survival kicked in, and that was the part of your brain that's in control. And now, the reason why I want to bring these topics to the forefront is I don't want you to blame yourself. Because I find high performers blame themselves. Like, I am so hard on myself at times. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than anybody else. And this may be you. And so you may be saying, hey, this is me. I had a meeting today, or I had a conversation today, or there was something I was supposed to do, and this is what happened. Or somebody, one of your peers is saying, girl, I think you overreact. I think, this person didn't mean it this way. What they were really saying is this, and you overreacted. And you're probably feeling really badly. This is not the point of this video. This video is here to liberate you. It's here to help you, because once you have awareness, it is the key to change. And so this is what's happening. Your brain, our bodies, is wired for survival. And that part of your brain kicked in and took over. Right? And this is no blame. This is just awareness, like I said. And so this is what happens when you are under pressure, and this is how you lose access. This is how you lose access. Because when your amygdala, the part of your brain that takes over, when it takes over, you lose 4 sets of critical access. The first set of access, I don't know why I'm having issues with that. The first access you lose is, and this is in no, side note, no particular order. You lose access to your strategies. Many of you looking at this, you're competent, you're capable, and this is not about capacity. This isn't whether or not you can do the job or not. You can. But you lose access to the strategies. You lose access to your decision making, because right now, when you're under pressure, your brain is in survival mode. That's all. That's it. And when your brain sees something as a threat, it could be a car coming towards you, or it could be a new boss that is trying to sabotage your work. That's a threat. And it's a wrap. Amygdala takes over, and you lose your critical thinking. You lose access to the strategies, right, that you would normally have access to. And that is why you cannot think. You can't think clearly. And you hear people say that I can't think, I'm not focused right now. These are some of the things people say. The second thing that you lose access to is the resources. And this is, when I talk about resources, these are the training. So you may have taken this really great conflict resolution training. You may have been the one in the class that is, in that training class that did really well. You have your certificate to show. You got great feedback. You've probably even used some of the techniques before. But this time is different. So you lose access to the resources. That conflict resolution training that you did, that communication model training that you did, you lose access to those resources because prefrontal cortex goes offline, amygdala is in charge. Captain, survive, right? The next thing that you lose access to is your emotional intelligence, things like empathy. So this can happen where you are, and I know I've seen this happen in me, when there are particular types of situations, my reaction is almost cold. And for a long time, I didn't know that is the reason why I acted that way. And maybe you're like me and you act cold, or you have a boss and there's certain situations that pop up and that person just seems really emotionless, and you're like, oh my God, this is happening. They didn't show emotion. It is not that they don't care. It's because, again, they've lost access. It's almost as if they're a different person. And so the goal, again, is not to blame. It's for you to identify these patterns, okay? So you lose access to your emotional intelligence. So you may display aloofness, or you may display some distance, some coldness. And then the last thing that you lose access to is yourself, who you truly are, that influential leader, that person that got up this morning and said, you know what, I want to make a difference. You lose access to that part of you, right, when you are under pressure. And I want to talk about this more because people are not talking about this. You're not going to learn this in a training class. You didn't learn this in that communication class that you took. You probably didn't learn it in that conflict resolution class that you took. And I feel like we sort of put more emphasis on the strategies and the frameworks and the things that we do as leaders, but we really need to focus on this aspect of ourselves, because throughout the day, throughout your leadership journey, you're going to have moments and seasons in particular that are stressful. And like I said, not just a bad day, not just a bad day, but intense periods of change, uncertainty, pressure, transitions. How do you navigate that? Because when you, and this is something that happens on a subconscious level. However, me talking about it and you listening to the people's brand, especially at this moment in time and moving forward, it's going to bring awareness. It's almost like we're going underneath the hood of the car. We're lifting the veil, right? So that you can see that you're not at fault. It's not that you're not capable. You didn't lose yourself per se. You just lost access. All right? And so these are the 4 things that happen. These are the 4 types of access that you lose. And I want to leave you with this. Again, it's not about blame. I want to leave you with this. This week and beyond, I want you to pay attention to those moments when you lose access. Because here's the truth. Many of us we've been so conditioned to operating from a place of survival that it's just second nature. Many of us right now are going through periods of uncertainty, intense periods of change, and different things in your environment. So I want you to pay attention to when you lose access. What is the situation that happened so you lose that access, and what is the type of access that you lose? Is it that you couldn't think, you wanted to maybe display empathy, you didn't, that's your emotional intelligence. Maybe you couldn't make a decision, you lost access to your strategic skills. Where this week are you losing access, and what type of access is it? I'm a big fan of reflection, because that's how you learn and grow. That's how I have certainly learned. That's how I've developed. That's how I've grown. And so if you're someone right now that you're not reflecting, like at least on a weekly basis, what went right, what could have gone better, that sort of thing, then you're leaving a huge opportunity. That's a huge opportunity that you are leaving on the table. Okay? And so pay attention to where you lose access this week. And also, you're paying attention to help you identify patterns. Because here's the thing. We are not broken people. We are patterned. And once you can identify a pattern in yourself, once you understand and have that awareness, that is the key to change. And so today I just wanted to share this with you, how you lose access under pressure. And I want to encourage you to hit the like button, share this with a friend. You probably have a work bestie or a friend who is going through a difficult time at work, a stressful time at work, and probably don't have the language or the words to put to how they're feeling or what's going on. So share this video with them. I know it's going to be helpful. The other thing that I've done to help you to identify the pattern is I've created a quiz, and it's called How Are You Leading Under Pressure? And it is going to, after you've completed it, it's like a diagnostic tool. You do the assessment. It's only 12 questions. Should take you like what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes the most, and then you get your results. So I'm gonna link that below. Make sure you take the quiz. How are you leading under pressure? And I'm curious to know what is your answer. So send me a WhatsApp, reach out to me, let me know, and share this out with someone who needs to hear it. Until then, I will see you on another Wavelength series. Bye.